Round one. Fight.
Heroes never die.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite store on the Citadel.
I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee.
Power, sex, power. They both come down to one thing.
Hungry Gamers.
Hello, and welcome, boys and girls, to the 263rd episode of the Hungry Gamers podcast. We are powered by ATEBIT.net and those sexy legends over at Audio Technica. Go and get yourself some gear from those legends as soon as possible. I'm your extremely humble host, Brendan White. You can find me just about everywhere at Brendan8bit on them socials. And joining me today, my podcast Ride or Die, the vast to my pagan min. You can find her on them socials at Miss Allie Hart. Miss Allie Hart, how the bloody hell are ya?
Do you know the definition of insanity? I'm doing good. Bit tired, bit exhausted, but doing good. How about yourself?
It's been one of those weeks.
Yes, I'm trying my best at the gym.
She's broken herself, listeners. She's broken herself.
It's just like, it sounded so like defeated before I even started my sentence. Yeah, just a lot of heavy lifting and then the body just aching afterwards. So doing what it can.
Just in a constant state of pain and rebuilding.
Exactly right. Right.
Why do we do it to ourselves? Well, I don't do anything to myself in that regard. I'm very lazy at the moment. But yeah, I'll just live through you and feel pain like a phantom limb.
Yes, that's good.
I don't know where I'm going with this. We're recording a day earlier than usual here, listeners. Yes. So maybe this episode's going to be a little disjointed and wackier than our usual THG offerings. But we're gonna have fun. We're gonna talk about things we've been doing. We got some nice juicy news and rumors doing the rounds that we'll unpack, and just start to ease our way towards the holiday season. My goodness, this year has flown by. All those cliches about time not slowing and all that can be copy and pasted right here. For now,
it's surprising that like we're at the end of the year now. But someone said the other day about Outriders.
Oh, yep.
That came out this year.
It came out in February, didn't it?
Yeah. That felt like last year. It felt like ages ago.
Underrated game. Got to say, I enjoyed my time with Outriders. I know it wasn't for you in the end, but like Benny and I put a lot of extra hours in that end game and had a good time. And I know there's more that they've been adding to it over the last several months, but I've just got no incentive to go back. I've had my time, I've paid my dues, and I've washed my hands clean. I've done this after that, and I'm like, I'm out. Aces. I'm instead playing a game that I've clearly rarely played, but I say that in jest. I've been playing Season 11 of Apex Legends, which dropped over the past week or so.
Yes.
And with that, obviously, with the new season comes a new character.
Ash.
We've got like this dual personality cyber assassin called Ash, which is a great character to play. She's a hell of a lot of fun, but the map's great. We've got like this tropical island paradise, and then there's certain areas in the map where you can interact with certain foul beasts, which will try and attack you, but you can kill them to then get subsequent upgrades and ammo and stuff. So there's not only 57 other people trying to kill you, there's also a whole host of creatures. So it's been fun. I've been dabbling. Haven't played a ton of games outside of that. I've just sort of cracked a few games of Apex here and there. Life and work's been a bit busy, and I just haven't sort of been feeling it too much. Started Jurassic World Evolution 2 as well, but haven't played it enough to sort of share some substantial insights. So that'll be next week, as well as other games. But Miss Hart, what about you? I see you've been playing a game that I've also preloaded, but yet to start my engine, one might say.
Absolute freaking universal plot twist. We are in the wacky timeline. I've been playing Forza Horizon 5, and I'm loving it. It is absolutely batshit bonkers that in this day and age, I have found a car game that I enjoy, and I'm like absolutely having a blast with it too. they've made this game so accessible to anyone that's kind of new or maybe like me, semi against the genre, and just cruising across the map and collecting these awesome cars and doing them up with these wacky or wonderful paint jobs. It's been so much fun. It's been so great. And then just having like these moments of just cruising along with just other random people, or like having people jump in a convoy and doing one-on-one or big matches as well. And then the online modes, there's one that's apparently from one of the previous Horizons or Forza games, which is the elimination mode, which is like essentially like a weird driving battle royale. That is a blast. I love playing that. Like, this game has to go down on one of the most shocking like surprises of my year and probably life at this stage, because I've never been into car games and I've never understood them. And then playing this, it's just been great. It's a beautiful game. It's absolutely stunning. The way that they've kind of like represented the like landscape of Mexico and kind of like grabbed components of different areas of Mexico and kind of condensed it all for this map for Forza is just brilliant. It's like absolutely stunning. And then adding on to that, just seeing everything that's coming out of photo mode. Like, I have been tricked with some of these photos or pictures that have been posted online from the Forza photo mode, and it's incredible. I'm just like, I'm absolutely loving this game. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of positive spin out there from media and fans alike, and we'll talk more about the financial success and the uptake of the game in the news. But yeah, I'm still yet to jump into the cockpit and have a drive around myself. But I've been living through social media a lot, where there is so many photos uploaded from the photo mode, where there's a whole host of very unique vehicles available, obviously, and then also the subsequent paint jobs and decals that people have been doing to these cars, and then just burning them around parts of this hybrid Mexico map. It is a feast, and I'm not at all surprised. The Forza games, they're my favorite racing sim brand at the moment, and the Horizon games are good too, because they're more of the fun arcadey offshoot of the mainline Forza series. So you have a little bit more quirkiness and insanity and sort of old school like Cruisin' USA type of vibes, where you got that arcadey throwback in there a little bit with some of those modes and options. So I'm looking forward to cracking in and seeing what Playground Games have done with this release. But that's some high praise from you, Miss Hart. Like, you're not a racer by any stretch of the imagination, and this game has put its accelerator foot to the floor for you. It feels like
it's incredible. Like, there's like nothing that would have convinced me otherwise. Like, granted, I think when we started beginning to see trailers and content announcements from this game, like, I agreed that it was a gorgeous looking game, but I think I was still kind of skeptical on whether I would actually play it or not. And obviously, because now it's on Game Pass, I didn't really have any loss in the chance of giving it a try, and it won me over. This is why Game Pass is great. Like, would have I taken that gamble? Probably not, because I've honestly convinced myself that I just don't like racing games. But I had Game Pass, so I had the chance to try it, and look where it did. Prove me bloody wrong.
You've got nothing to lose with Game Pass. You're paying your 15 AUD a month if you got the ultimate version, and with that you can get Game Pass on Xbox as well as PC, because you were playing it on Game Pass PC, right?
That's right, yeah. So I've been playing it on PC with an Xbox controller, because I would not know how to begin using a keyboard and mouse driving. So I have been using the Xbox controller, but I've hit some hiccups with PC online. There is some reports of some dropping out, or apps, just game crashes and stuff, and I've experienced some freezes and some I've had some issues with trying to access the game. But in saying that, in contrast, the game has just been too amazing and awesome to actually tarnish a few of dropouts being the be all and end all and I'm not going to play this game ever again. No, like it's still amazing even with the little issues that I've actually encountered.
Yeah, no, I can't wait to give it a crack this coming week. So yeah, gonna race my little heart out and report back and see what kind of funky paint job and vehicle I can settle on, because your Sonic the Hedgehog machine is quite a creature.
Sonic, yeah, because so you can have like obviously in game or like paint jobs that are in relation to the actual car. Also, the car collection is incredible. It's absolutely extensive and just amazing what you have access to. There's Australian cars in there too, which is awesome to see. But yeah, then you have the custom paint jobs that are done by obviously people in the community, kind of doing their own kind of like thing. And yeah, I found a Sonic car and
It's a
bought
thing.
that shit. Yeah, I've been driving around the countryside and like not harassing people. I drive like following the law kind of thing, and then I have someone speeding past me, and then usually had the occasional person stop to kind of look at my monstrosity, which is great. That's another thing, like the online driving community. I like honking and having a honk back from someone. Sometimes there'll be there's this like massive ramp that you can kind of launch your car off, and it's just great seeing us all kind of like line up as a community to just then drive off this ramp as well. So it's fun. It's really, really fun.
Yeah, I'm keen to come for a couple of hot laps and honk as I fly past your Sonic beast and jump into oblivion. But speaking of oblivion, I finally got around to finishing Midnight Mass. I picked up the first episode a few weeks ago and just I don't know what it was at the time. Maybe I was just looking for something else and I sort of just wasn't in the mood for that sort of slow burn Mike Flanagan goodness. But I was very stupid in saying that now, because I binged the whole thing in one night on the weekend.
Really?
And it is fantastic stuff. Like Mike Flanagan, we've talked about him here and there over the years about how he's this up and coming horror savant and you know, done the Haunting series and Doctor Sleep and Hush and a heap of other things. But Midnight Mass, outside of maybe Doctor Sleep, is probably my favorite thing he's done. Like I like Midnight Mass more than both The Haunting of Hill House and then obviously the subsequent Bly Manor. It's really, really, really good.
Wow.
Like it's only, I think it's 7 episodes. So it's not a long burn to sort of crack through, but the cast is phenomenal. The story's great. The pacing's great. The location, they've got like the location set on this place called Crockett Island. It's like this little small island of, you know, like sub 200 people living there.
Yeah.
Really cool coastal vibes. Gorgeous cinematography. Great writing, great special effects. Really loved where they sort of, obviously, for anyone that's seen this mentioned on social media, they do play and lean heavily, well, not heavily, but they do lean into religion throughout this series, and it's not too heavy-handed, and it doesn't sort of force feed anything. You're not watching this feeling like you're getting hit over the head about, I need to go now, become a Christian or become a Muslim or whatever it is. It's none of that type of stuff, but the way they handle real-life religious source material and weave it into the story is really, really, really well done. And I love this. And yeah, he is just in fine form. He's in some rare air, I think, old Mike Flanagan. And yeah, Midnight Mass is one of the favorite things I've watched this year. I finished those 7 episodes. Like I binged all in one night and didn't get to bed till like 3 a.m. And it was well worth it. The Sunday when I was feeling a bit brain dead was well worth it, because Midnight Mass was so good.
I still have yet to watch it, and I'm looking forward to it actually, because I've loved like Flanagan's previous installments, Bly Manor and Haunting Hill House, but I haven't, like, because I know I want to sit down and probably like churn this one out, because I like his stuff, and it's incredible that I haven't had this spoiled for me yet. It is absolutely unbelievable that I haven't had this show spoiled for me yet. So I'm doing well, but I'll have to get to it soon.
And that was my worries too, like, because it's getting a lot of chatter on the socials, and you know, we like, I especially out of the cast, like I follow Raoul Coley, who's one of the actors in this show, and he's obviously interacting with a lot of fans on the show, and I'm sitting there going, shit, there's going to be a bridge too far here where he's going to say something that's going to give away, or there'll be a image shared or a clip shared, and it'll open up the whole plot for me unnecessarily. So smashed it out, really good. You'll finish it somewhere between 6 and 7 hours, so it's not a huge undertaking. Like, it is a good chunk of time, don't get me wrong, but yeah, the story didn't outstay its welcome. Was paced really well, good ending, good character development, just more of that Mike Flanagan goodness. And also I binged the only season of another anime that I stumbled across called Arifureta, which is another one of these fantasy-based anime, a little bit more darker in tone. Like, it's down that sort of fantasy, mythological, dungeon crawling type of thing, but the sort of the main character is part of this like dungeon raiding party, and someone in his party pretty much like kills him, like does the dirty, sacrifices him in there, and then he's left for dead. So he's stuck in this dungeon, and then he ends up leveling up and becoming like one of the most powerful people in this realm, but he's a bit dark, and he's just, killing things left, right, and center, and it was good. It was good. Like, it's got that harem vibe in it where he builds up this party of various female archetypes from the fantasy genre, and they're running around killing stuff, and then there's an overarching plot where it connects in from him getting, in air quotes, killed, and all this type of stuff. It was just good, easy watching in the background while I was working, because I've been putting in a lot of hours of work outside of work hours, so it was good to have something a little digestible in the background, and that was Arifureta. There's a couple of overs that I'm going to check out as well. They weren't on Anime Lab, which now I have to go to Funimation next month. Miss Hart, Anime Lab and Funimation have combined, obviously, and the app is getting shut down for Anime Lab, so I'm a bit disheartened about that because the Funimation app sucks, but it's what it is.
What about Crunchyroll? I never really used these apps to watch anime, so I've never actually really had to experience them. But is Crunchyroll good?
Crunchy's good. Like, obviously they're all owned now pretty much by the same. Like, they're all under the same banner, so eventually it's going to become just one app, which I'm happy for, because at the moment I've got like
anime.
Yeah, anime universe. Because it's just dominated by this one company now. But most of the stuff I'm watching is on Anime Lab, but then there's a few more hard to find titles which I have to jump onto Crunchy for. So I've got to navigate two apps. Minor gripes, nothing to complain about really. But yeah, plenty of stuff. The second season, I think, of Arifureta is coming out in January or February, which is good. So that works. That works. Couple of new seasons coming out for shows that I stumbled across this year and really enjoyed. So yeah.
Did you watch One Piece?
I do watch One Piece, yeah.
So what's your thoughts about now? Because we've obviously got Cowboy Bebop, and that's pretty soon.
Yeah.
And then this week they announced some of the cast for the One Piece series. Yeah,
like, I know Nato's going to be listening to this because he's a big One Piece fan. I really enjoy it, but I haven't finished. Like, it's still ongoing, obviously, the manga, and then the subsequent anime that feeds off the back of this. Like, this is a beast of a show, as far as, hundreds upon hundreds of episodes. But I've enjoyed it. Like, I was thinking about it, funnily enough, before the live action casting was announced earlier this week. Like, maybe I'll jump in and sort of have that going on in the background as sort of just a bit of a, audible distraction and a visual sort of distraction, while also just enjoying and catching up on that show, because there's so much. But the world building and the characters, I really like it. It's got a good tone. Like, it's funny, it's dramatic, good action, some good combat, and who doesn't want to be like the greatest pirate in the land?
My problem was the dub. I didn't really like the dub of it, and I wanted it to be exactly like that, something to throw in the background, so you can't kind of do that with subtitles. Yeah, that's the tough part. Like, a bad dub just really ruins the experience. Yeah, it was rough, sadly. Yeah. But anyway, that's what I've been doing. Anything else you want to talk about what you've been doing? Anything you've been watching? Anything of note? Or should we just jump into some news and things, Miss Hart? Just a side note, almost finished watching all of Eastbound and Down.
Oh, yeah.
Never thought that show would be something that I would watch, but my husband was watching it in the background. I was saying how stupid of a show it was, as is the usual cycle in this household. I got attached to it, and now we're almost finished watching it. Something weird about like anything that now I've forgotten the poor actor's name.
Danny McBride.
That's him. He's really good at playing like a really shitty person, yet somehow draws you into wanting his redemption. So he did that with like that Eastbound and Down. He did that with Principals, or Vice Principals. But yeah, it's a very interesting kind of like story arc that he does, and it gets me every damn time.
Yeah, he's a very talented actor. And then it's surprising, like I remember seeing him when he was in Alien Covenant, of all things, playing like a serious role. I'm like, what are you doing here, Mr. McBride? What are you doing here right now?
Someone better whip their dick out? What's going on?
Yeah. All right, let's move into this.
This week's news headlines.
All right, the first little piece we're going to be talking about today, Valve has announced that it has delayed the launch of mobile PC device, the Steam Deck, and the new estimated shipping window for its first pre-orders is now February of 2022. In a statement, the company said the release update was due to continued component shortages. According to Valve, February will be the new start date of the reservation queue. All reservation holders keep their place in line, but dates will shift back accordingly. So Steam Deck was originally announced in July with a December launch window. So we're bumping things back about 3 months. Obviously, for us here in the AU, it's still not officially announced / available for Australian-based listeners, but anyone in America and I think Europe or the United Kingdom could get it.
Somewhere like that, yeah.
But does this make you sad, Miss Hart? Did you guys end up pre-ordering a Steam Deck?
No. No, we didn't pre-order it, and I'm not surprised. I was genuinely shocked when they said that they were going to pump these out for December release. I think we even kind of made the comment in a previous episode saying like, where did they get all their components from? Because there is definitely a shortage going on, and yeah, so here we are.
Yeah, it gets you no matter how big the company, no matter how big the company is and how successful they are. These component shortages do not judge. They do not have preferences. And then the crazy part, I was part of an online auction for work the other day. Like what's happening now with some of these component shortages for like chips and coils and plastics and stuff to make just about anything in tech. And we had to jump on this auction to try and buy these chips for a certain security panel we sell. And, you know, the usual price is price X. And the bidding, it's pretty much like glorified live eBay or live auction against vendors from all over the world chasing this chip to then put their software on. And the price of these things, typically, I think, what the product manager was telling me, I think we used to buy them for about $5 AUD a chip or something like that. And the winning bid on these chips, because they come out in waves now and it's like you get them or you're fucked. And the winning bid for these chips that were once bought for $5 AUD was $170 AUD.
Each. What the hell?
Yeah. So the markup then obviously that would have to be pushed through to customers and everything else like that. But it's like you either get it and the business potentially lives a little longer, or, you know, the orders can be fulfilled, or you don't, and then you wait for the next one and hope for the best too. But it's insane. It is some insane shit. And this is happening all over the world for all types of things, whether it be chips and microprocessors and microcoils and plastics and silicone and all these things that you don't think about that are just in such short supply that the auctioneer is just like rubbing their hands together knowing that they're going to be making some fat cash.
That's absolutely bonkers, but it's pretty cool to get your kind of like behind the scenes kind of look at what's actually going on inside the, you know, computer space.
It's nuts too. And then there's no loyalty, because I heard from one that happened previously that we won the bid and that was closed, and then overnight the manufacturer of these components emailed our product manager saying, oh, by the way, we've had someone come in overnight at a higher bid offline, you need to now beat that, otherwise you lose the order. So it's just like,
that's not how an auction works, sir.
Yeah.
That's not how it works.
Yeah, black market eBay. But it's absolutely bananas. So no one's surprised, I guess, in sort of going back to the story. No one's surprised that the Steam Deck's delayed. And 3 months, like February, I think is very generous. Very generous. Because we've got parts that we sell as a daily item that we've been getting told that we can't get some components until next September. What? Yeah. Like that's the kind of things that is happening out there in that tech space, as far as things that are, it's not multi-week or multi-month. It's nearly, multi-year on some things, which is absolutely crazy.
Jesus.
Something else that's crazy, and we've already sort of discussed this game in detail to begin with, Forza Horizon 5 has the largest launch of any Microsoft game. So Forza Horizon 5 is off to a great start, according to new stats released by Microsoft. Playground Studios' excellent racer already has 4.5 million players across PC, console... Let me say that again. Across PC, console, and cloud devices, Xbox boss Phil Spencer revealed via Twitter. This means Forza Horizon 5 has enjoyed the biggest launch yet of any Xbox Game Studios title. That its concurrent player peak is triple that of Forza Horizon 4. Of course, many of those players will be playing the game via Xbox Game Pass, where it launched day and date alongside retail copies. But a sizable portion of these players, over 1 million people to be exact, actually began playing earlier, and that was due to the early access that was granted to those who bought an $99 premium edition or had picked up the $50 premium add-ons bundle for Game Pass subscribers. So even though you can get this included in that, $10 to $15 Game Pass bundle, 1 million people still paid at least $50 to get their hands on this game early. So this is not only a money spinner for Microsoft, but that player base in week 1 of 4.5 million is no small feat, Ms. Hart.
No, and it's pretty evident, as you said, your social media space has been pretty damn swamped with everyone posting that they've been playing it. And like I said, they've done extremely well on making a game, a car title, a niche kind of gaming space, completely accessible to all us norms. It's an incredible game. It's obviously positivity, is it's infectious. So anyone that's sees everyone gloating about a game, they're more than likely to give it a roll, especially when it's being received well globally. The numbers are great. I've definitely haven't ran into an issue of never seeing a single person online. I am shocked, but also kind of happy. I like these little surprises for game studios and such like that. So
for sure, and it's just nice to see everyone jumping onto this game, and as you said, people from all walks of life that aren't maybe traditional racing sim fans going, you know what, I'm going to give this a crack, and loving every aspect of this game. So really, really good to see, and Playground Studios just knocking it out of the park with that Forza franchise. So the next little bit of news here, Far Cry 6's first chunk of paid DLC titled Vast Insanity will launch this coming Tuesday. So we're talking the 16th of November. Insanity will surprisingly introduce Vas Montenegro, voiced by Better Call Saul's Michael Mando, as a playable character. Starting with nothing more than a pistol to defend themselves, Ubisoft explains, players will need to find new weapons and unlock power-ups to become stronger and progress deeper into the depths of Vaas's psyche. Ubisoft says Vaas's Insanity's blend of intense action and storytelling will offer a unique opportunity to better understand Vaas's past, personal demons, and motivations. Following Vaas's Insanity's launch next week, paying players can expect to get their hands on episodes 2 and 3, titled Pagan Control and Joseph Collapse, respectively, in January and March of next year. Additionally, Far Cry 6 will also receive a number of free crossover missions featuring appearances from Rambo, Stranger Things, and actor Danny Trejo. While Ubisoft is yet to offer much in the way of information on these crossover inclusions, the publisher was recently forced to issue an update for Far Cry 6 after the Danny Trejo titled Danny and Danny vs. Everybody mission was accidentally released too early. There's no indication of when this might return, but it seems a fair bet it'll be the first of Far Cry 6's currently announced crossovers to get an official release. So this took me by surprise that this DLC is coming out so quick. Like a month or so after release. Like, that's awesome. Especially to keep players embedded in this ecosystem and running around as Danny and now experiencing, I guess, the more of the backstory of Vars. I think it's going to be a trip. A big old trip. Based
on what we saw, like the little snippets that we kind of saw with the Far Cry 6 kind of announcement trailer, I remember when we saw that little snippet and, you know, we saw that Vars and Pagan and everyone else was in there and we're like, wait a second, what the hell is this? I am going to wait because I love Vars. I think he's, you know, one of the best, you know, characters in video games, especially on the, you know, baddies. Mm-hmm. However, I'm still completely skeptical on what this content really is. I don't know if it's like an easy cash grab. So I'm going to wait until it releases and some people play it. Because I would love to visit his story and get more information to get to know the character. But like, I mean, paid DLC and maybe it will only be like an hour or something. Like, I don't know. Might be worth watching rather than paying and playing. So...
Yeah, I'm just trying to see what they're so it's the season pass is $39.99 USD. So it's not, you know, it's not cheap. It's not an insane amount of money, but that's still a substantial amount of cash. And at this stage, you're getting those 3 chapters, mainline paid DLCs, and you're also getting the updated version of Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon, which is dropping in December. And so you're at least getting 3 chunks, but yeah, you'd hope that it's more than just an hour pseudo vision quest that you know, showing Vars in this psychedelic, broken down mental state that he's in. So we'll see. I'm curious. If I run out of things to play in the next couple of weeks, maybe I'll pony it up and jump in and give you some hands on just to get a feel for it and see if it's worth the Johnny Cash. Especially because like Ubisoft were kind enough to toss me a key to play the game. So maybe that can be my way of saying, you know what, I want to give this a crack. I want to see what the DLC's like.
Yeah. Well, it should be interesting either way. Like, obviously for me, I would be seeing it as a $30-something investment for one story because that's genuinely the one that I care about the most. But I guess anyone else that would be interested, obviously, in the other 2 characters as well as these additional characters and side missions that are going to come with it too, maybe it would be well worth the money. But for me, I am just focusing on the one thing. So
yeah, that's fair call. That is a very fair call. Something else that's happened this week that involves a sum of money, but this is a much heftier sum comparative to that $39.99 DLC price. Unity is set to acquire Weta, the visual effects company co-founded by Sir Peter Jackson, for $1.625 billion. We're talking US there, so we're talking in AUD, maybe what's that, 2.2-ish billion?
Australia.
Which is, you know, a good chunk of change. So the company have entered into a definitive agreement which will place Weta's renowned VFX tools into the hands of game makers. Weta is responsible for the VFX in a number of award-winning films and TV shows from Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones to Black Widow, Avatar, and more. Unity is the 3D game development platform used by thousands of developers worldwide. As part of the transaction, Unity will acquire Weta's engineering talent, industry-leading tools, a data platform to allow artists to work more easily together, and a library of thousands of assets. These tools will, in the future, be made available to creators through a cloud-based workflow. The film arm of Weta will continue as a standalone entity under Unity, known as Weta FX, and will remain under majority ownership by Jackson. Weta's digital tools created unlimited possibilities for us to bring to life the world and creatures that originally lived in our imaginations, said Jackson. Together, Unity and Weta Digital can create a pathway for any artist from any industry to be able to leverage these incredibly creative and powerful tools, offering aspiring creatives access to Weta Digital's technology will be nothing short of game-changing, and Unity is just the company to bring this vision to life. Weta is the largest single-site VFX studio in the world, drawing artists from over 40 countries. It is perhaps best known for bringing to life Gollum in Lord of the Rings and Caesar in Planet of the Apes. That's a weird little addition there, Eurogamer. But anyway, together with Unity, the companies will be a force to be reckoned with in game development. This is huge. Like, this is awesome for Weta, for one, because, yeah, their practical effects, and even their digital effects, but also their practical effects. Like you see some of the back end making of and director diaries and things on like the original Lord of the Rings trilogy and stuff like that. And the things that they made from the costumes and the weaponry and the makeup to those animated set pieces is phenomenal. And this feels like a great acquisition. This feels very much like hand in glove type of thing, where Unity, the platform that developers all around the world already use, now get access to this type of tech and all these assets and all these tools. This feels like a great melding of two powerhouses to really shake up and allow more access to these cool tech in the marketplace.
Yeah, I mean, Unity in itself is, made itself completely accessible to, big major studios or to the little guys. And then also having asset packs accessible to little, indie studios or just, single devs that are out there trying to just make something. Having access to obviously, Jackson level quality assets will be fantastic, and obviously help them, hopefully help them bring, things that they wish to bring to life by having better access. I'm curious because they do mention Golem and Caesar from Planet of the Apes, and they do actually say that Unity, by having this acquisition, will also have access to technology. So I'm wondering if Unity is going to have this technology built in. I don't know if it currently does, so I could be corrected, but if they're going to be making it accessible for any person to actually do facial capture and movement capture, and making it way more accessible. It is accessible. There are technologies already out there so people can do it, but I'm just wondering if this is the angle that they're going with, where, people themselves will be able to start doing facial capture, motion capture, to the level that, we've come to expect.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. Like, open platform for these types of software packages is the way to move forward, not only just in gaming and film, but like, broader tech, where you can have an open platform and then have a software development kit or an API that's open to allow these other companies and studios to take your bit of code and then write certain plugins and integrations and then, bring these softwares together and these technologies together. So it's really cool. Like, I feel this is a really, really good relationship, and we won't see immediate sort of changes and positive movement within the industry for a little while, I think. But over the next few years, with these tools being made available, we might see, as you touched on, Miss Hart, we might see sort of, smaller indie studios come out of nowhere with games that aesthetically look on the level of some of these big budget AAAs, just by having accessibility to these tools and being able to purchase, these cheaper plugin packs, as opposed to trying to have a team of 60 build these things from the ground up. So yeah, might level the playing field a little bit for smaller and more boutique development teams, which is awesome, because a healthy market is good for everybody.
Yeah, definitely. And there's so many people out there with stories to tell, and, it just, everyone should have an opportunity to kind of get out there, and who knows, your next favorite title might be just waiting in the wing.
Yeah, and shout out, I totally missed that Peter Jackson got knighted. That's so cool. I'd love to be a sir one day. I'd love to get knighted for something. I don't know what I'm good enough at to get knighted outside of like eating bad food. That's the only thing I think, I can sort of stand on a pretty high podium in that regard, but the rest of the things I do is pretty average. So I need to find a niche. But then some people call it a niche, right? I say niche.
Niche, right?
What's that?
I'm like spelling it out, so I'm trying to think where the T comes out in niche.
Yeah, it weirds me out, but I'm definitely niche.
Niche.
And I'm definitely GIF as well for anyone that's out there using GIF. I'm looking at you, John O'Peck, you scumbag. But I'll see you tonight and we can break bread over fried chicken and settle this GIF debate once and for all.
Oh, wait, is he on the other side of the fence?
He's a GIF boy.
Oh, John.
Yeah. But it's tough because he's very learned. And
Yeah,
he's
actually,
good
I
with
was
words.
about to say, I'm like, technically he's like wiser than both of us probably put together. But
Yeah, so
we
it's like-
we will look down on him.
Yeah. I cannot ever yield on GIF and GIF. I cannot ever. No matter how smart you might be out there, listeners. All right, so the next bit of news. Thunderful World. Everything that was announced, including a 3D SteamWorld game. So Thunderful World was the inaugural digital event for the Swedish developer/publisher, and it aired overnight, bringing new game announcements, release date reveals, and even a surprise game launch. And it was all made better because it was presented by the living legend, Mark Hamill. So I'll quickly just rattle off the titles that were announced and some info that accompanied some of these. And then, full disclosure, listeners, I have not watched this yet, but I know, Miss Hart, you checked this out. So you can give us the play-by-plays.
Sure.
So we got SteamWorld Hunter. We got a bit of a showcase from The Gunk, which is the Xbox exclusive. It's coming on December the 16th, which is surprising. As far as that sort of short timeline, it's like 5 weeks away. We've got some info on Wavetail, which is out now on Google Stadia, and a PC and console release will follow in 2022. We got Toges or Toges.
Yeah.
I don't know the pronunciation on that one. That's coming in 2022 for PC and console. We got a showcase of a game called Hell Pie, which I'm immediately drawn to just because the word pie is in it. So, yeah, go me. Coming to PC and console in 2022 as well. Swordship, same. 2022 PC and console. Laker, Aged Through Blurred, coming to PC and console next year as well. We've got an update on Super Meat Boy Forever, coming to mobile in 2022. Industria, it arrived for PC in September and will also now come to PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X/S in 2022. White Shadows got a little bit of run, comes to PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X/S on December the 7th. Fire Girl is coming to PC on December 14th with a console release to follow next year. And Cursed to Golf also got a little bit of love. And then we also got some highlighting of 3D point-and-click adventure Crowns and Pawns, multiplayer adventure sandbox Tinkertown, and action roguelike Source of Madness got updates as well. So a good smattering of titles there, Miss Hart. What stood out to you in Thunderful World?
First of all, just the overall presentation. Massive flex to have Mark Hamill presenting. And it was such a cute little quirky thing. There was like a little story going on in the background, and we even got a Joker laugh, which was awesome.
So good.
So we need more Mark Hamill in these gaming presser events. So that was just great. Also, they did it right. Overall, as an event, splattering of games, a little bit of trailer, and a little bit of information on what it is. Gave you some dates. There you go, done. So it was actually a really well done event, especially for a studio just kind of doing their own thing. So in regards to what kind of games stuck out to you? Stuck out to me. Wavetail, that looked really, really pretty, and it looked like a very interesting concept in regards to how you play. There was an element where you as a character could walk and run across water and use like water as an elemental. But overall, the overall design of it too looked really pretty. So I'd probably keep that one on the radar. Just for FYI, Hell Pie, there's no pie in it. You're like a little demon, and you are kind of chained to a cherub. So you're kind of like navigating, like, I believe, like hell, heaven and hell, or that kind of arena. But it's kind of like a platform action kind of thing, 3D. Industrial.
I'm out, Miss Hart. I was in.
Yeah, I know.
Out.
And since
I thought it was going to be a satanic pie.
Yeah, no pie.
Maybe devil cooking sim. Who knows? But no, I'm out.
I'd be on board for that. Industria actually looks really, really cool. I've never really heard about this one, even though it got a release in September on PC. But overall, it looks pretty cool, pretty quirky. A lot of like, I don't want to say Last of Us, but that kind of whole like industrial takeover world kind of being taken over by something and just watching like the world as you know it being taken over by like organic matter and technology as well. So it was kind of interesting. So I'm going to keep looking at that one. And White Shadows game looks kind of like, I don't want to make that assumption, but it kind of looks like Limbo.
Very muted color palette, just blacks and grays and whites.
Yeah, and it's just like a little like adventure game like that. So not much to it than, that kind of vibe, but because of that, it obviously got my attention. So I'm going to be looking into White Shadows as well. Curse to Golf was just kind of cute. It's just like a little adventure game, a little 8-bit thing where you're golfing across a map. More of a watch it to kind of understand what it's about kind of thing. So, but yeah, overall of an event, I think they did really well. It won't take up too much of your time. So if you maybe didn't even know about it, Thunderful World, check it out. See if there's anything in there that you like.
Full disclosure, I did not know about it until you said, hey, I've added this to the docket. And I'm like, what is this? So I'm going to go back and check this out today as well, because I love seeing more studios doing this, more time to sort of, set up their own little platform and showcase what's coming out, what might have just released, what's to look forward to. Just these little guerrilla marketing events are phenomenal.
Especially for indies.
It's great.
Yeah. I think it's great, especially for indies and like any studio really, like especially when we kind of get it, absolutely vomited on in like E3s and other things like that, and we just get everything at once. I think it's a great way for indies and studios just to kind of say like, hey, just, here's a little segment, take your time out just to watch it, and here's what we've got to offer you.
Yeah, like they showcase like a dozen games, and it sounds like there's something there for everybody.
Yeah, there
sadly,
is.
no, satanic cooking sim, but maybe we'll get to work on that. Now we've got access to Weeda's assets. We can get a nice high-fidelity devil cooking all kinds of pies in the upcoming, 8-bit devil cooking sim coming soon to platforms near you. But stark contrast to that, small, tight, focused, intimate, Thunderful World event. We've got some news regarding the Game Awards. It's focusing back on games with approximately 40 to 50 to be shown. So Jeff Keighley has shared more details about December's show in an interview with Epic and said it will place an emphasis back on video games. The quote reads, it's great to have celebrities, it's great to have music, but I think focusing really on games is important, Keighley said. What we really learned last year was at the end of the day, it really is the games and the trailers that drive the show. Just a quick full stop there. Jeff Keighley, no shit. Back to the rest of the article. The world of traditional entertainment will still feature as well. However, although more for things which are video games adjacent, like a TV show or movie inspired by or recreating a video game. Keighley said new categories may need to be added to the awards. Probably next year, we may be able to add a Best Adaptation category to the Game Awards. I think this will be a welcome departure to the show's format, which saw last year hardcore gamer, but mostly just a movie director, Christopher Nolan, present the Game of the Year award. Keighley also said he expects the show to probably feature 40 to 50 games this year, some way or another. The number of new games being announced is probably in the double digits, allegedly. Rumors, not confirmed just yet. Keighley also couldn't reveal more about the specifics of what will be shown. He did say that the show is going to have some next-gen content. I still feel like we're only kind of just touched the surface on what's possible on the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X. So I think you'll see some stuff in the show that is truly pretty stunning, he said. We'll see footage of games that will remind people that the best of this industry is still yet to come. Keighley also said he sees potential in expanding the show using the industry's favorite new buzzword to the metaverse. We're really interested in the metaverse style of how people watch the show, he said. We're starting to explore the idea of finding new ways to distribute it using games and game technology. That's actually kind of our next platform, right? We're a show about video games, so of course we should be airing it inside of video games if we can, end quote. Thankfully, Keighley said he's not interested in the industry's other favorite buzzword, NFTs. We're not doing NFT stuff, he said. The Game Awards will arrive on the 10th of December of 2021. So, apologies, listeners. That article there from Eurogamer, it was a little bit choppy. It was a little bit of a mess. I probably could have edited it and chopped some of that wording out of there, but we sort of just ran it as is from Eurogamer directly. But Miss Hart, I guess it's exciting to know that they're shifting focus back to just being a more game-centric awards, which leans in with the title of said award ceremony, the Game Awards. 40 to 50 games going to be highlighted. The weird part for me, though, was where he was like, we're going to be highlighting some next-gen content. What does that mean? Next-gen is now, it's been a year, and we're going to be highlighting some? What the heck?
Shouldn't it be a good chunk now? Like, that was confusing. The other confusing thing is that, like, saying that people go watch the Game Awards for trailers and game announcements. I thought the fucking thing's called Game Awards. Shouldn't we be watching for the awards? Yeah, it's a weird blend, isn't it? Where it's like, let's celebrate the successes of the year, but also here's a smattering of things. Like, he's trying to be E3 and the Oscars in one, almost, it feels like. And I get it. Like, you're going to probably maximize your viewer base trying to appeal to the then and the future, like the now and the future type of thing. But yeah, like I like that they're leaning more back into focusing on the games, less about the celebrities and the weird parodies and the disjointed interviews. And music segments are okay, just especially because the worse they are, the better it is, I feel, with the music piece. But yeah, just tighten this thing up, announce the winners, churn out a heap of good trailer for new content, 40 or 50 games being featured. I'm curious, like they're saying double digits for the new games to be showcased. So we're going to get a lot of runway on a heap of games that came out in 2021. And then maybe some smatterings of, another trailer for God of War Ragnarok or Forbidden West, or maybe we'll get a trailer here announcing Halo Infinite DLC for next year, whatever it might be. But I'm intrigued, at least. I'm curious to see what Keighley cooks up. Like, don't get me wrong, I've been, like, pretty impressed with what Keighley's been doing, especially over, like, the, pandemic and everything, and trying to make these events work. And I've actually been a big fan of the live events, but without studios. I've been a big fan of it. But then when we kind of, like, pivot to this whole thing, like I kind of said, being the Game Awards, I don't want it to be, like, this is essentially Summer Games Fest, and we announce some awards as well. Like, I just think if you're going to create an occasion called the Game Awards where it's meant to be a celebration of, what people in the industry are doing, then please do that. Like, create segments based on maybe a lot of the things that maybe people take for granted and give them some shine, as opposed to just showing trailer after trailer after trailer after trailer of stuff. I think, maybe I'm just looking into it much, but I just think when you're combining the two things together, one outshines the other and you kind of forget what you're meant to be there for and to begin with.
That's a perfect way to summarize all that, Miss Hart. Yeah, like he's got Summer Game Fest, middle of the year, which is highlighting new games coming out and showcasing maybe new content for games that were already released. And then the back end of the year, it's the celebration of the year that was, but yet he's trying to, greedy's probably the wrong word to use, but he's trying to get another clip of that same ticket from the middle of the year, trying to be the relevant, newsbreaker and key cog in this machine as far as new announcements and world exclusives and world premieres and all that. Like, but I know, like, that's going to be a potential hook for more people to tune into the Game Awards. We're like, what could be shown? What brand new game might be announced? But we'll see. We'll have a look and unpack this over the coming weeks. Maybe do a bit of sort of guessing on what we think will win the respective awards leading up to that December 10th go live date of the Game Awards. But like it's good, more content. I know they were talking about having this in front of a live audience again. So we'll see if that's going to sort of downplay this event a little bit too. Because I'm with you. I like the more closed off, audience free events because there seems to be less awkwardness, less rigidity, less heckling and variables that then can change the tone and the flow of these shows and events as well. So we'll see how it goes back in front of an audience of thousands, I think you were saying, right? I think they were putting in a big hall that could potentially support like 10,000 people or something.
I don't know about 10,000, but yeah, it's not a small audience.
Yeah. Enough people to
heckle.
Take this thing off the tracks.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's gonna be a woo girl and a boo boy there, that's for sure. But
it's my favorite Bomfunk MC song.
That's it. Throw your hands in the air.
New releases and events.
All right. So stuff that's coming out this coming week, if you don't want to wait till December the 10th for the Game Awards. Obviously, the event that is, or the pre-event, you could say, that is running for the next couple of weeks that we wanted to highlight again. The 2021 Biddies nominations are open right now. Head on over to 8bit.net/win. Get your entries in to potentially win yourself over $1,500 worth of kit from us and Audio Technica. Takes you next to no time. It might take you a couple of minutes to put all your entry answers in, and then you're automatically in the draw. That's all. There's no cost. There's no pain to yourself. Just tell us your favorite things and your potential nominees/winners for the 2021 Biddies. So 8bit.net/win. As far as podcasts, we've also got an episode this week of Comedy Rewind showcasing the Jack Black Kyle Gass classic, The Pick of Destiny. Recording that. I'm actually part of that one with Maddie Stallone making a comeback to the Comedy Rewind chair a lot swifter between drinks with Maddie. Obviously, he did the Halloween Comedy Rewind special last year and then did the Halloween special this year. But because, Australia's John O'Peck making his way to Melbourne, we're going to try and record this sucker in person tomorrow in the studio that I'm sitting in right now. Wow. So it's going to be interesting to see how all three of us are going to coexist in this space. But we'll make it work. And it'll be hitting that Comedy Rewind RSS feed this week coming. As far as movies and TV shows of note, the season 8 of The Flash making its way to Fox and Binge this week. Season 6 of Riverdale, if you're still all up in that Archie and Co. melodrama on Netflix, is dropping. Tiger King 2 is dropping this week on Netflix as well. The Wheel of Time, is dropping on Amazon Prime this week. The next high fantasy, high budget, dramatic television show that could be good. The trailers make it look interesting. I'm intrigued by this. One that Miss Hart alluded to earlier, Cowboy Bebop. So the live action adaptation is dropping on Netflix this coming week as well. And Last Night in Soho is making its way to cinemas here in AU, which I am keen as a bean for. Love me some Edgar Wright. Love me some Anya Taylor-Joy. So keen to check that. As far as games coming out this week, Sherlock Holmes Chapter 1, Surviving the Aftermath, The Wild at Heart, Final Fantasy VII The First Soldier. So that's the mobile Final Fantasy offshoot. We've got Blood Rain 2 revamped, dropping. Epic Chef Undungeon, Battlefield 2042, Nerf Legends, and then probably the biggest ticket outside of Battlefield 2042 on this list, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Pokemon Shining Pearl on the Switch. Pokemon fans will be queuing up en masse to pick that bad boy up around that November 19th, 20th date, depending on where you are in the world. So plenty of things to watch and play and listen to this coming week, Miss Hart. Yeah. But that brings us to the end of THG 263. Anything else you want to say before we shut this sucker down for another week?
Nope, good to go.
Good to go. All right, so I guess a quick thing, listeners. Including this episode, we've only got 6 episodes left of THG for 2021. After this episode, we've got 2 more of our regular rotation Hungry Gamers episodes, and that's going to then be followed by Festivus, the 2021 Biddies, and then lastly, we're going to be doing our favorite things of 2021 as the sign-off episode for the year. As far as Festivus, if you wanted to air your video game grievances, keep your eyes peeled on the socials. We'll have a link there where you can write in or even send some audio bites as far as things that, created a lot of problems with you people out there from the gaming and pop culture space. So, yeah, you can have those grievances and frustrations and annoyances heard and unpacked on Festivus 2021. But Miss Hart, that brings us to the end of yet another episode of THG. Let's get on out of here. What do you reckon?
Let's get at 'em.
All right, listeners, thanks for tuning in. Be sure to rate, review, subscribe. But until next time, much love.
And stay hungry.
You've been listening to The Hungry Gamers, one of many gaming and geek culture related podcasts from the 8-Bit Collective over on 8bit.net. Check out more episodes on your podcast service of choice. And while you're there, please be sure to rate and subscribe. Until next time, boys and girls, stay hungry.
Fun fact, Bomfunk MC's Freestyler was my very first CD single. It's a good song.